Way above the clouds, far beyond the reach of our atmosphere, something is orbiting the Earth. It doesn't have a flag, it doesn't have mission control. And according to some, it's been there for 13,000 years. It's a silent, black, jagged monolith watching the rise and fall of civilizations. To the believers, it's the Black Knight satellite, an extraterrestrial sentinel sent to monitor our progress, or perhaps our eventual demise. To the skeptics, it's the world's most expensive piece of lost laundry. Today, we're sifting through decades of orbital debris to isolate the signal from the noise. We're going deep into the math, the Cold War paranoia, and that mysterious 18,900 megahertz signal that supposedly contains a message from the stars. Welcome to The Weird and Unexplained with John. I am your host, John. Grab your headphones because it's about to get a little weird. Now, we have to start our clock in 1899. Nikola Tesla, the man who basically invented the entire 20th century, is sitting in his lab in Colorado Springs. He's listening to the stars with his magnifying transmitter when he hears it, a rhythmic repeating beep. Now, Tesla is convinced that he's pretty much intercepted a hello from Mars. Now, modern science suggests he might have been the first human to accidentally listen to a pulsar, or perhaps just atmospheric interference. But that seed, it was planted. The idea that something out there was broadcasting to us became the foundation for everything that followed. Then, in the 1920s, things got even weirder with long delayed echoes, or LDEs. Radio operators would send out a signal and then it would just bounce back to them. Sometimes it was seconds, sometimes it was minutes. In the world of physics, that's like pretty much throwing a ball at a wall and then having it hit you in the back of the head 3 days later. Now, it shouldn't happen unless something out there in the orbit is catching our signals and throwing them back at us. Now, fast forward to 1954. This is the height of the Red Scare, paranoia. Newspapers like the St. Louis Post Dispatch start running headlines that the U.S. Air Force has detected two satellites orbiting Earth. Here's the catch: Sputnik, it wouldn't even have been launched yet for another 3 years, and nobody on this planet that we are aware of had the tech to even put something in orbit yet. So, this is where the Black Knight name came from. We're looking at classified Cold War radar anomalies. If you are a radar technician in the 50s and you see a blip moving at 17,000 miles per hour, and you know that the Soviets don't have it, and you know that we don't have it, your brain automatically goes to it's an alien spy pretty damn fast. It was the perfect storm of technological limitation, meaning existential dread. Now, let's talk about the photo. Now, if you've ever Googled this, you've seen it. A sharp black, futuristic looking craft silhouetted against the blue curve of the Earth. Now, it was taken in the 1998 era during the STS 88 mission, the first assembly mission of the International Space Station. NASA called it Object 025570. The internet called it proof. Now, the reality, it was a thermal blanket. During an extravehicle activity, or EVA, astronaut Jerry Ross lost a silver and black thermal cover. It drifted away, tumbling through the vacuum. Because it was crinkled and hitting the light at odd angles, it looked like a terrifying alien craft. It eventually burned up in the atmosphere, but the photos live on in the Hall of Fame of like conspiracy forums. We are essentially cross referencing high tech radar glitches from the 50s with a lost piece of space fabric from the 90s, and we're calling it a single story. Now, let's get into the big reveal, the math that supposedly proves this thing is ancient. In the 1970s, a researcher named Duncan Luna analyzed those 1920s radio echoes. He claimed that if you plotted the delay times on a graph, they formed a map pointing to the Epsilon Botus, a star system in the constellation of Botus. Now, according to Lunan, the map showed the stars as they had appeared in 13,000 years ago. It's a beautiful, haunting idea, a robotic messenger waiting for us to become smart enough to read its mail. But when we actually dismantle the myth, the math starts to wobble. The 18,900 megahertz signal, often cited as the Black Knight's frequency, is actually a pretty common range for various polar satellites and deep space research. Most of these ancient signals align perfectly with mundane human made objects that were simply misunderstood by enthusiasts who wanted to find a map in the stars. The verdict? So, what we're left with is what? We have Tesla's curiosity, we have Cold War jitters, a lost NASA blanket, and some creative star mapping. When you stitch them all together, you get a 13,000-year-old Sentinel. When you pull the threads apart, you get a history of humans being confused by their own reflection in the sky. Is there something weird in our orbit? Always. But the Black Knight is less of an alien spy and more of a celestial test. We see what we want to see, basically. But just remember, keep looking up. But if you see a dark shape, make sure that it's not just an astronaut's lost laundry before you start building an altar to our alien overlords. All right, I'm John, and this has been The Weird and Unexplained with John. See ya!